Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
In July 1885, the day of Rath Yatra, Thakur Sri Ramakrishna came to Bagh Bajar at Balaram Basu's house. Narendranath was there and he sang many songs. In the living room of Balaram Basu, this Ravindra Sangeet was one of them. The meaning of the song is like this: I have made you the polar star of my existence. Never again can I lose my way in voyage of life. Whenever I go, wherever I go, you are there to shower your blessings all around me. Your face is always present before my mind's eyes. If I ever strayed the wrong way, your shining face makes me ashamed. You are indeed the North Star of my life. Tomare kore ache jiboner dhrubotara. Tomare kore ache জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা এ সমুদ্রে আরো কবু হব না কো পথহারা তোমারে করিয়াছে জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা যেথা আমি যাই না কো তুমি প্রকাশিত থাকো যে আমি যাই না কো তুমি প্রকাশিত থাকো আকুল নয়ন জলে ঢালো গো কিরণ ধারা তোমারে করিয়াছে জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা তব মুখ সদা মনে জাগিতেছে সঙ্গোপনে তিলেক অন্তর হলে কাহেরে কুলকে নারা তব মুখ সদা মনে জাগিতেছে সঙ্গোপনে তিলেক অন্তর হলে নাহেরে কুলকে নারা কখনো পথে যদি ভ্রমিতে চাহে হৃদি কখনো পথে যদি ভ্রমিতে চাহে ও মুখ হেরি সরমেশে হয় সারা তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা এ সমুদ্রে আর হব না কো পথহারা তোমারে করিয়াছি জীবনের ধ্রুবতারা।
I'm reading from the book Nag Mahashay, a saintly householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Receiving the news of Swamiji's arrival from America, Nag Mahashay came to Calcutta to see him. The mutt building at Belur was then completed, and Swami Vivekananda was living there. Nag Mahashay reached there in the afternoon and fell prostrate before Swamiji. When he heard that Swamiji was not doing well, he showed his anxiety and said, "Thakur used to say that you are the chest of gold mohurs. The preservation of your health will save the world from misery. The world hangs on you." After a long conversation, Swamiji requested him to live in the monastery for good. Nag Mahashay replied, "What can I do? How can I disregard our master's wish? Thakur gave me the command to live at home." Swamiji then ordered the scriptural class to be closed in honor of the presence of Nag Mahashay, and all the brahmacharins and sannyasins came there and sat before Nag Mahashay and Swamiji. As soon as Swamiji uttered the name of Sri Ramakrishna, Nag Mahashay stood up and shouted, "Glory to Ramakrishna! Glory to Ramakrishna!" He then said, "The other day I went to Dakshineshwar and could not find our master there. Thakur is now living here in the monastery." On Swamiji's asking him whether it was proper to establish mutts and build temples, Nag Mahashay answered, "All these are accomplished at the will of the Lord, and they are for the good of the world and its beings. You must look after your health. The survival of your body will do the world the greatest good." Then Swamiji, addressing the Swamis and Brahmacharis, said, "Only by seeing Nag Mahashay, one can understand to what spiritual height a man can attain through the grace of the Lord. In self-control and in renunciation, he is by far our superior." After a while, Nag Mahashay was taken to the shrine, where he prostrated himself before the altar without getting up for a long time. The house of the late Balaram Basu of Bagbajar was a favorite resort of Sri Ramakrishna. Nag Mahashay used to call it the courtyard of Srivas. Srivas was a devoted disciple of Lord Gauranga, and his courtyard was a favorite resort of his guru. The sannyasins, disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, used to stay there whenever they went to Calcutta. Nag Mahashay often met them there. One day, Chakravarti accompanied him. Swamis Brahmananda and Premananda were present there on that day. They were talking on various subjects. As soon as Nag Mahashay arrived there, they stopped all their talks and began to talk only about Sri Ramakrishna. When they were about to return home, Swami Brahmananda said, "The moment Nag Mahashay entered here, we were unconsciously reminded of the Master, and all other topics were dropped. It is due to the appearance of such great souls that spirituality is still present in India. Blessed indeed is Nag Mahashay." Nag Mahashay had the highest reverence for his sannyasin Guru Bhais. He used to say of them, "They are not men, but gods in human forms who came to play with the Lord. Who can know them? Who can understand them?" Here is reading.
Now a short period of meditation. Good morning, friends. So wonderful to meet you on a holy day, very auspicious day today, according to Hindu calendar. It is Rath Yatra Day. A few hours before, hundreds of thousands assembled in the city of Puri, on the bank of Ocean, Bay of Bengal, and were worshipping Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. Hundreds of thousands pulling his chariot, decorated chariots of Jagannath, Balabhadra, Balaram, and Subhadra. And people feel that if they see Jagannath in the chariot, it is mukti. Mukti or moksha, that is the dream of everyone. We want to be free. We are limited. And we are insecure in life, always fearful. What will happen next? Fear of unknown, always it stings us. And we feel so much bound to the resources, to the things that we are here. We are always bound by time, space, and causation. We are in the limited. After that, what will happen? In this limited space, if I have to go beyond this limited space, what will happen? So we feel always insecure in this time, bondage of time, space, and causation. And in the heart of our hearts, we all long for liberation, ultimate freedom. We want to be free and break away this bondage that we have got. We find that there is a lot of pain in birth, in life, in old age, death. Sri Krishna said, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. This Janma, the birth, Mrityu, the death, and the old age, Jara, and Vyadhi, in sickness, Dukkha no dosha anudarshanam. There is so much of pain. People see so much pain in that. It's suffering. And there is suffering in fear, suffering in limitedness, suffering in insecurity, suffering in having wants, our desires not fulfilled, all are very painful. The suffering of disease, old age and death is suffering of the body, and suffering from not fulfilled desires, and insecurity and fear is the suffering of mind. And these two types of suffering, we take it as our own suffering. Vedanta comes here and says, what you say as the suffering, bondage, limitedness is not of yours. It is of the body, it is of the mind. You are not that. You are beyond body and mind. Try to understand who you are, and then you will be freed already. Not that you will be freed, you are already free. Freedom is not something that you will attain by doing something. You will attain only by knowing, by cutting asunder the ignorance that you are bound, that you are this body and mind, this wrong identification to something else as your own self. When you identify truly to your true self, then you are already free. There is no death, there is no disease, there is no insecurity, there is no rebirth. You are already mukta. You don't have to go to Puri to see the Jagannath Yatra and pull the rope to become mukta. Only the knowledge will do. Shankara says that going to Ganga Sagar many times and doing so many vrata and tapasya, all you can do all your life, but unless you have knowledge of the self, you can never attain mukti or freedom, even in hundreds of lives. Muktir na bhavati janma satena. So the goal is to attain knowledge of the self, to know who I am. The Vedic rishis divided the human life in 4 categories. And these categories are called ashrama. Ashrama is also name of the place where holy men live, and they are engaged in the pursuit of knowledge and spiritual practice, and also loving service to society. That sort of place where people live and work for the good of oneself and for the benefit of the society selflessly, that is also called ashrama, as we call Ramakrishna Mission ashrama. But ashrama traditionally meant the stage of life, 4 stages of life. The Vedas said each human life should be divided into 4 stages. The first quarter of the human life, which is considered to be 100 years, during Vedic times, thousands of years, they said life should be 100 years. And of that 100 years, first quarter until 25 years was the life of a student, where the human being should pursue knowledge, should learn all the knowledge that is available. Grammar, literature, language, etymology, jyotishi, that is astronomy, astrology, whatever was there that time, music, dance, whatever was there, that should be learned. That 25 years are devoted for that. Those, and also knowledge of scriptures, knowledge of the self, what is there in what is the ultimate goal. All is taught in that first 25 years of your life. Practical, what you should pursue in life, what is the goal of life, what you should do in life. This ethics, morality, purpose of life, and different arts and sciences of life were taught in first 25 years. This stage of this ashrama is called brahmacharya ashrama. And people living in brahmacharya ashrama are called brahmacharis. Always supposed to go through that. Next 25 years of life, until 50 years after student life, is called garhastha ashrama or grihastha ashrama. The person were called grihastha. They would get married and would look after their profession, would produce for the society through farming, through industry, through whatever way they could do to provide for the society, utilizing the knowledge they got. And that was the life of productivity and also progeny for the generation to continue. This part of the life was called garhastha ashrama, the stage of life where people will live to generate something in life. After you turn 50, still you are half of your life, still 50 years to go. They say, now halt, now look inward, now seek the ultimate goal of your life. That is the goal that you have been taught when you are a student. Ultimate goal is knowing the self. That is the ultimate goal you were taught in the scriptures, that you should pursue from now. That life is called the life of hermitage or vanaprastha-ashrama, in which you retire from your active life of doing hard work, and you delegate the responsibility of the family to your children, and you rather withdraw yourself into the inquiry of the self, in the practice of spirituality more vigorously. In fact, the grihastha life itself was supposed to have practice of spirituality, ritualistic spirituality, going to the temple, offering to the fire, if you are a fire worshipper, trying inwards, every day doing some prayer. Life should be enriched. The grihastha life is supposed to be very hardworking, full of energy, and it should be grounded on ethics, morality, and your true life of centered in God, where you are not deviated from the goal. You do the right thing. You are not caught by the greed and allurement of the world. When you could do that with self-control, you become a very good householder, ideal householder, which will lead you to pursue further in the vanaprastha life and sannyasa life. Vanaprastha is thus a life of retirement, relaxation, more moving towards the final stage of life at 75 years, which was called sannyasa jivan. The sannyasa is renouncing everything. Then there is no two. In vanaprastha, husband and wife could live together. In sannyasa, it is only one person living, fully depending on God, nothing else. And total pursuit is the seeking of truth, and total detachment from the worldly responsibilities and worldly duties and worldly relationship. That was traditionally the sannyasa life. That was a very uplifting life for a person to find the fulfillment of life, the life which couldn't give you security and knowledge, and it couldn't give you unlimitedness, it couldn't give you unlimited peace. In sannyasa life, you are supposed to pursue that, so you get the goal of human life that can give you the ultimate thing, the freedom from fear, freedom from insecurity, freedom from limitedness, and you attain your true nature as the Atman, as the true self. Be one with the whole. You become whole. You are not fragmented in sannyasa life. That is the ultimate goal of sannyasa. Now, Vedas say there are two types of dharma. Dharma is duties, or dharma is how to lead a life. Dvividho dharma vedokto prokta, it says. Vedas have told two types of dharma or lifestyle should be there. Pravritti lakshana, nivritti lakshanascha. The first one is called pravritti. When you pursue happiness, joy, peace, and comfort, that is called pravritti lakshana. And your brahmacharya and the garahastha asrama is for pravritti lakshana. You want to achieve those things, happiness, joy, peace, and also a little enjoyment of life, whatever you want. After that, from vanaprastha, after 50 years you have attained, then nivritti lakshana. Nivritti means getting away. Pravritti means going to, in search of, trying to find. And nivritti is getting away from insecurity, getting away from limitedness. It is also search of unlimitedness, getting away from suffering. It is also search of peace and joy. But seeing the nature of the world, that world cannot give. Vedanta says, if world could give the peace and joy, unlimited peace and unending joy, then world has no capacity to give. If you want from the world that thing, it will be like if you could roll the sky as the carpet, only you can achieve that. How the sky can be rolled like the carpet is impossible. So to find that unlimitedness in this world through pravritti marga, through the path of going into forgetting something is impossible. So you have to get away from these things to find real joy. And when you do that, nivritti marga, then you can do that. As in Vedas, two portions of the Vedas, they called karma kanda and jnana kanda. Rituals, performance, all this comes karma kanda. This brahmacharya and garhastha is meant for karma kanda. Action, you have to do this, you have to attain this, you have to pray this way, you have to perform a fire worship that way, all is in karma kanda. Then jnana kanda comes where there is aranyaka and upanishad. There are the message for the forest dwellers, aranyaka. Vanaprasthis were called, who live in forest is called vanaprasthi, who go to forest is called vanaprasthi. Prasthana means to go. Vanaprasthi, who live in the forest. That is, they don't have attachment for worldly householder responsibility. For them is aranyaka, where the truths of spirituality is will be told. And then finally comes the sannyasa, whose life will be centered in the teachings of the Upanishad. Aranyaka and Upanishad are meant for vanaprasthas and sannyasis. So that is how the life was divided into in the Vedic times. This was the life pattern. Now, ideal of sannyasa to say, Shankaracharya said, life of sannyasi is, he describes in Yati Panchakam, beautifully he says that Vedanta Vakyeshu Sada Ramanta Vikshanna Matre Nacha Tustimanta Vishokamanta Karane Charanta Kopinavanta Khalu Bhagyavanta. What was the ideal of sannyasin? As according to Vedic time, Vedantic teachings, Shankaracharya says in 5 verses, beautifully he described the ideal of sannyasi. He will live under a tree, have food from begging, would have nothing to want, no desire left, free from all desire, something to eat and keep the body going on. And that is and he says that type of life is really blessed life. And the translation of the verse that I just recited is always thinking about words of Vedanta. Words of Vedanta is Aham Brahmasmi. I am that unlimited being. I am that Brahman. I am not limited body and mind. Always dwelling on that. Always getting satisfied with food got by begging. Begging is such an ideal for sannyasi. Sannyasi don't cook for themselves. Whatever they get, they are satisfied with that. They don't eat for enjoyment, but just for keeping the body fit so that they can think of God, think of reality. So always getting satisfied, no complaint. To those who accept alms cannot complain. Oh, this food was not really good. They gave me the burnt food. No complaint, whatever is God. Always satisfied in begging. That's what called the begging food. And always without trace of sorrow. No sorrow for anything. Anything. That's why comes the titiksha, forbearance. Little sick, doesn't matter. Titiksha. Oh, it has gone a little difficulty, it will be cured. Doesn't matter. So, no attachment to life itself. Whenever the death will come, it will come. Whenever this prarabdha finishes, death will come. No worries for even for death. So, like that is the life of sannyasi, ideal of sannyasi was that. And he says, and always without trace of sorrow, thinking of the inner self. When you think of yourself, one with the whole reality, one with the consciousness, one with the universe, then where is the time to think of the sorrow? You are always blissful, you are always joyful, you are not separated from anything. When forgetting your real nature, your reality, you think of your body as yourself, then all the problems come. When you transcend your limited thought about yourself, your identification with the body, and think of then the problems come. When you could transcend that body idea, then there is no sorrow for anything. And that's what it says, Bhikshan Vishoka Mantah Karane Charan. Vishoka, no shoka is there. Antakarana, in the mind there is no shoka. And Karane Charanta, he moves on. Sannyasi is supposed to stay not too many days, not more than 3 nights at one place maximum. And move on, go on moving. Why so much rule for this thing? One is you don't want to tax the householders for their food to begging. For particular house you will be begging every day. 3 days maximum, generally not even 3 days. They will go stay one night, people will all support you, for you are in the pursuit of giving up everything, pursuit of God realization, and you have such a high ideal, whole householders support that. And they will give you food. You don't want to tax them every day. Then you move from there. Other cause was not getting attached. So attachment may come from many things. Oh, this is nice cozy place to live here, nice house, this I got it, it's small, the temple is good. And also householders are so friendly here, these villagers are very, and they cook so nice. So that way you can get attached. So no way living, so charantaha, charaivaiti, always move on. Rolling stone doesn't get a moss. So doesn't gather moss. So that's how the sannyasi in ideal used to be always moving. And while moving, they used to take the message of spirituality to the householders. Wherever they gathered, people brought food, people came from village, and they used to talk something about spirituality, something about God, which will uplift them through their teachings and by the association with their holy life. That's how sannyasin used to do. So, and sannyasin would have intense desire for self-realization, and another thing of the sannyasin would have renunciation of ego and ego-based motives. That is the ideal of sannyasins. Self-realization and renunciation of ego. Ego that is connected with this small I. Another thing sannyasi had, that they renounce everything. The ideal of sannyasi is, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is said, that the sannyasi will get this ultimate not by collection of many things. In Mahanarayana Upanishad it is said, na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naike amritattva manaso. Immortality is our goal. Immortality means fulfillment of what we seek. Total fulfillment, becoming whole, no desires left, all desires fulfilled. That, to have that, Upanishad says, it cannot be done by karma, by action, by worship, nothing that, na karmana, na praja, having lot of progeny. They will also not help in your pursuit of finding your true self, finding the bliss of getting the human life. Na prajaya na dhanena, by having lot of wealth. That it can also give you amritattva. How then amritattva, immortality, can be attained? It can be attained tyage naike. Few people have attained this by tyaga, renunciation, detachment alone. Some have attained this amritattvam. In Vedic tradition, there are 2 types of sannyasa. One is called Vividisha Sannyasa, another is called Vidvat Sannyasa. Vividisha Sannyasa is when you have now no attachment to things, but you have not attained Brahma Jnana. You are still away from the knowledge of the self. But you want to have that sannyasa. So it is called Vividisha Sannyasa, taking renunciation, being free from all your family ties and wealth and all your desires, and formally taking renunciation and becoming a monk, taking the vows of a monk to attain self-realization. That's called Vividisha Sannyasa. And there is another sannyasa told in Vedas, it's called Vidvat Sannyasa. By your practice, through your samskaras from previous birth, you are so highly elevated spiritual person, even in a young age, you have already known the truth. Yet, when you were in your Vanaprastha ashrama, or even in sannyasa ashrama, even in brahmacharya ashrama, you are already so close, you were detached from everything, you had no desires, and you didn't have to do anything. So you had already attained the truth of yourself. And then still that sannyasa is prescribed for such person. It is called Vidvat Sannyasa. He is already a wise man. Then he renounces. That's called Vidvat Sannyasa. There is another sannyasa prescribed in the scripture. It's called Atura Sannyasa. Atura Sannyasa is, I couldn't have the opportunity to take sannyasa in my life. At the last moment, I want to take renunciation, formal, take the vows of renunciation. That is also called a type of sannyasa, Atura Sannyasa. There is another sannyasa Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, Markata Sannyasa, monkey sannyasa. What is monkey sannyasa? The person was living and suddenly a lot of problems came in life. Lot of debt and problem and nothing fulfilling, complaints from family and all that. They say, I give up this world. And he suddenly gives up without having any inclination, without having preparation for sannyasa, having the ideal sunk into without that. Then where he goes, where to take sannyasa? He goes some holy city like Varanasi. And going to Varanasi without any preparation, mental preparation for sannyasa, he takes sannyasa. And that sannyasa, without any preparation, without any having firm sitting on the ideal, that person after some time says some job was there, he gets the job. And he takes the job and writes to home, I had taken sannyasa, but now I got a good job and I will earn money and send you. So that type of sannyasa which is done is called Markata Vairagya. Generally it's called Vairagya, not sannyasa taken. After you take the vows, you are not supposed to change. So Markata Vairagya had a lot of renunciation, but monkey renunciation. Like monkey jumping from one place to other without any deep ideological firm background. So that type of sannyasa was there. That's also people, sometimes people do that. Shankaracharya says that all people who wear gerua are real sannyasis. Many people wear many types of clothes. And for the sake of what? For the sake of stomach. Udara nimittam bahukrita vesha, he says. Not that everyone who wears the dress is a true sannyasin. For the sake of having food, getting something, they may look like sannyasins. So that are all fake sannyasins. That are also Shankaracharya's time. That time was there. Now also, if you go to many places, you can find in India, look like sannyasin dress, but they are not real sannyasis. So there have been people like that. So this, to have the sannyasa, Vidvat Sannyasa and Vividisha Sannyasa, two types of sannyasa has been done. So this is the ideal of sannyasa, not to get attached. Sri Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, a very short definition for sannyasi. He said that sannyasi is not that you have to take the life of sannyasi. You can have inner sannyasa. You can have outer sannyasa. Sri Ramakrishna says, anybody can have inner sannyasa. You don't have to wear gerua and take the vows, but totally detached from inside. Even the householders can live like a sannyasin. And the sannyasin who take the vows of sannyasa is for outer and inner for the sannyasin who take the vows. For them both sannyasa is needed. So Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the Gyeyasa Nitya Sannyasi Yona Dvesti Na Kangshati. What are the qualities of a sannyasis, ideal of a sannyasis? Na Dvesti Na Kangshati. The person who has no hatred towards anyone. He doesn't hate anyone, na dvesti. He doesn't cavil anyone. And another is na kangshati, doesn't want anything. So all desires are gone. Doesn't want anything, doesn't have any hatred. Nirdvando hi mahabaho, that's what he says. Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. So this bondage has to be broken. And bondage which makes us suffer and which makes us pain, gives pain in life, it is to be broken. How to get broken from it? He can easily break this bondage by practicing two things. Do not hate anyone, do not have any cavalry to anyone, and do not desire anything. Easy to say, difficult to practice, not desiring anything. But nirdvando hi mahabhaho, O great Arjuna, be established in non-duality. Don't think yourself separate from the whole. Feel yourself one with with the whole, one with consciousness, one with creation. And if you can do that, sukham bandhat pramuchyate, you can easily become freed from the bondage. So that is what Arjuna was told by Sri Krishna. Sannyasin have many things in life. What the sannyasin should do? So, sannyasin says, I will not compete with anyone in worldly achievement. I am complete and fulfilled, and hence need nothing to make me complete. So he fulfills the completeness, nothing he lacks. That's why all desires are finished. Sannyasins also observe purity of body, mind, and speech, always pure. A sannyasin lives unattached like flowing waters, helping all and giving lessons to all spiritual seekers who approach him for guidance and knowledge. Two types of duties. So one is he lives a pure life, and also he transmits the knowledge, how one can become spiritual to others. So that is also sannyasin there. To such a sannyasins, the whole world is his family. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam treats whole world as his or her family. Sannyasi, the monastic vows can be taken by men and women equally. The Swami Vivekananda re-established that by inspiring people to establish the Sarada Mat, the monastery in the name of Holy Mother Sarada Devi, which was done late in 1954, but by the instruction of Swami Vivekananda. So such person feels that whole world is his or her own. As he is pursuing the core of his being, the reality of all realities, he is not bound by any restrictions in terms of caste, creed, and gender. Sannyasi is beyond any caste. He doesn't belong to four castes that Hinduism says, Brahmana, Kshatriya. It is Atyasrami. He is not bound by any caste. He is no more Brahman or Kshatriya or any caste he belongs to. Sannyasin is free from ritualistic bondage and responsibilities. He doesn't have to observe anything that happens in his purvasrama. In fact, to take sannyasa, one has to break all the relationship, and as if he is already dead to the world. And it's so symbolic to prove the death to the world and relationship that he has to do shraddha, obsequious rites of shraddha, for himself and for his ancestors he has to do. And then he will take sannyasa. So why it is done? We offer pinda, something that they will get for our ancestors. The Hindus will offer pinda or something, some food. So ancestors who are in Pitri Loka, or the world of ancestors, they will get that food. But a sannyasin dies, he doesn't have any children to perform those rituals. So how will it happen if he doesn't get mukti? So he himself does that shraddha. So no response for himself and for his ancestors. And he has no responsibility towards anyone. That is the ideal of sannyasa. A sannyasin need not observe any external ritual. He should not practice priestcraft. He can only teach spiritual life and self-knowledge. A sannyasin has the right to question all dogmatic thinking, for he is devoted to the pursuit of God or ultimate reality. Sannyasin believes that unity in diversity is the scheme of the universe. So he accepts all different kinds of ideas, that yes, there is diversity, but there is underlying unity. He doesn't have any quarrel with anyone. And sannyasin says, Abhayam sarva bhuteshu. May all be happy, and he doesn't harm anyone. He doesn't have conflict with anyone. He doesn't have competition with anyone. And he says, let there be peace in whole world. From his heart he thinks. Sannyasin renounces. What does it renounce? He renounces the life that is desires. Basic human desires. That are the, when taking sannyasa, he has to renounce. That's what the sannyasin is. The desire for wealth is called vittaishana. desire for wealth, I renounce. I will not desire any wealth. That's why they live so life of poverty they observe, nothing amassing the wealth. They renounce the desire for progeny. And also the third renunciation is the renunciation of the desire for lokeshana, desire of the human support and human praise. That is called lokeshana, no desire for the human aggrandizement. There will be many people who will admire me, I will be supported by many. That desire is also not there in a sannyasin. And surprisingly, in Vedic times, the sannyasin also is supposed to give up the desire for hair, lomaishana, something very peculiar. We don't understand why there should be attachment to the hair. What was there in the Vedic times, we don't know. But sannyasin has to take vows to that I will renounce the desire for hair. It's called lomaishana. This is very not understandable in our present times. India's great tradition of all teachers have all been great sannyasins, like the right Shankaracharya and great Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. Even in other religions like Jainas, all 24 Tirthankars in Jainas were all sannyasins, and until the 24th, that Mahavira. In Buddhistic tradition, Buddha himself was a sannyasin. Why to say Buddha? What about Jesus Christ? He was a sannyasin. That's why in our prayer, when we do puja, we say sannyasine vai nama. Great teacher, oh great monk, we bow down to you, thee, we say when we worship Jesus Christ. This sannyasin, or renunciation of everything and living for the sake of God and to serve the humanity, it has been the great ideal of humanity. Buddha, Jesus was a sannyasin, Buddha was a sannyasin, all founders of other religions were sannyasin. This Hinduism, Catholic, Christianity, and Buddhism. These three major religions, they believe in monasticism, and Jainism. They believe in monasticism and as the highest ideal. But this is the ideal, not that everyone will become monk. Monastic life is the ideal of a human life. Though it had been that there was life was made that way, that the fourth stage of life, all had to be sannyasin, that was that. But in present time, not that everyone will become sannyasin, and it is also not possible. The ideal is very vast, very deep. Not that everyone is fit to become sannyasin, perhaps not in this life, maybe in next life it will be there. So, but everyone regards and respects the life of sannyasin as the ideal human being. So that is the Hindu view, that sannyasin's life is the ideal life, it is respectable, adorable life, but perhaps I am not fit to become a sannyasin in this life. Because getting into the sannyasin's life and not fulfilling its ideal is a great disservice not only to oneself, but to the whole system of ashrama or Vedika dharma. So that has been the thing. Swami Vivekananda, as he said, that sannyasin is to move, give the message, and is to live a very austere life, not caring for his body, but always only for prayer and meditation. That was the traditional sannyasa life. But Swami Vivekananda gave a wonderful turn to the ideal of sannyasa in the present times. He gave a talk, parting address was given to Swamiji by the junior sannyasins of the Mutt, Belur Mutt, on the eve of his leaving for the West for the second time. The following is the substance of Swamiji's reply as entered in the Mutt diary of 19th June 1899. Swamiji was leaving for the second time to the West, and they asked about that, and Swamiji there spoke to the monks and brahmacharis about the ideal of sannyasa. And it is printed in the complete verse called Sannyasa, its ideal and practice. And Swamiji there, he says that sannyasa means love of death. And he says love of death doesn't mean committing suicide. Love of death is not being fearful of death. That is called love of death. And he says, why you should have that? You are not afraid of death, but not that only you will live for yourself. modern Swami Vivekananda sannyasi is, you do your spiritual practice, but you live for the society. You are intimately connected with the society and you have to do good to the society. After all, society is not separate from God. The God, that Virat, has become the society. And he quoted from the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvatah Panipadam Tat Sarvatok Shishiromukam Sarvatah Shrutimal Loke Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. God he walks with many feet. He looks with many eyes. He hears with many ears. All our ears are his ears. All eyes are his eyes. All feet are his feet. So he has become all. So serve all. He had written that before he even went to the West. Where do you want to find God? God is present in front of you in human beings. Bahurupe sammukhe tomar chhadi kotha kujicho ishwar. Where do you search God? God is present in form of you in many forms, in the form of human beings. Jibe prem kore jaijon seijon sebisheshwar. Can you love human beings? All living beings can you love? If we can do that, that is the real worship of God. That is the real ideal of sannyasa, he says. And Swamiji continues, then as to the methods of carrying the ideals into practical life, first we have to understand that we must not have any impossible ideal. An ideal which is too high makes a nation weak and degraded. This happened after the Buddhistic and the Jain reforms. On the other hand, too much of practicality is also wrong. If you have not even a little imagination, if we have no ideal let guide you, you are simply a brute. So, we must not lower our ideal, neither are we to lose sight of practicality. We must avoid the two extremes. In our country, the old idea is to sit in a cave and meditate and die. To go ahead of others in salvation is wrong. One must learn sooner or later that one cannot get salvation if one does not try to seek the salvation of his brothers. You must try to combine in your life immense idealism with immense practicality. You must be prepared to go into deep meditation now, and the next moment, you must be ready to go and cultivate these fields, Swamiji said, pointing to the meadows of the mud. You must be prepared to explain the difficult intricacies of the Shastras now, and the next moment to go and sell the produce of the fields in the market. You must be prepared for all menial services, not only here, but elsewhere also. The true man is he who is strong as the strength itself, and yet possesses a woman's heart. You must feel for the millions of beings around you, and yet you must be strong and inflexible, and you must also possess obedience. Though it may seem a little paradoxical, you must possess these apparently conflicting virtues. If your superior order you to throw yourself into a river and catch a crocodile, you must first obey and then reason with him. Even if the order be wrong, first obey and then contradict it. So this was Swamiji's ideal of sannyasin. Sannyasin lives not only for his own salvation and mukti and knowledge, but for the service of others. Service by teaching and inspiring them to lead a spiritual life of fulfillment in life, and service to alleviate their difficulties in life. And by the Swamiji's instruction, Ramakrishna Mission monks got engaged in making hospitals and serving patients as the worship of God. Swami Vivekananda sent his own disciple, Swami Kalyanananda, to a place of pilgrimage, Haridwar, far away from Bengal, and said, forget Bengal, don't think about this place. You will have different language, different food, different types of people. Be one with them. Never think of Bengal, and serve the people there. Old sannyasin do not have treatment there. Old widows, they live there, nobody is there to look after. Try to get something, medicine, cure, and give them salvation, remove their difficulties. And a hospital came up slowly. And Swami Kalyanananda, he didn't make temple of Sri Ramakrishna even after request. He said, why you have to need temple of Sri Ramakrishna? Aren't we serving Sri Ramakrishna in the patients? You want to recite the stotras to God, to the chanter, recite the mantras? Talk with them. That is recital of mantra. You want to offer food to the deity? Feed them. They are veritable God. Give them medicine. That is real service of God. That's how this service of Virat was praised according to Swami Vivekananda's thing, made practical by the monks of the order. And they used to nurse, they used to clean their bed and toilet and all that when they were sick. There were not many nurses. Other monks said, oh, they are not real sannyasis, they are bhangi sadhus. They are sweeper sannyasis. Oh, they clean the patients, they make them, they nurse the patients and clean their all these dirty things. And they are not real sadhus, they are bhangi sadhus. Kalyananandaji and his team was undaunted. They were serving. Whether they respect us as sadhu or doesn't matter at all. Yet he was so erudite, learned, seeing Brahman in everyone. That is the ideal of sannyasin. And there, one day, the head of the respected monk was invited to some gathering of the monks there. He went there and he said, I don't see Ramakrishna Mission monks here. He said, no, we don't invite them. They are bhangi sadhus. They do not do shastras and meditation. They all serve the patients and clean them, feed them. Always, whole day they go that way. Then that Mahanta said, you don't know them. They are so learned. You don't know how they look upon the patients. You don't know the philosophy of their serving. They see God in everyone. Sarvata panipadam tat. All beings are divine for them. You go and invite them immediately. Unless and until they come, I will not have food here. And he waited, made all people sannyasin to wait. People rushed to the ashram in Kankhal. Swamiji Kalyanandaji went and they were fed. And when he went, only he started eating. So, but Kalyanandaji was unfazed, whether invited, whether honored or insulted, sannyasin has no problem. Sannyasin has no problem. Mana pamanayos tulya tulyo mitradi pakshayo. They are equal to honor and insult. They are equal to friend and foe. Equal to friend and foe means what? They don't have friend and foe. In fact, all are their friends, no foe at all. Other person may feel that person may not like, person may dislike the person, but for a sannyasin, whole world is his friend. Whole world is his God, all adorable. Whether well-behaved or ill-behaved doesn't matter. That is the ideal of sannyasa. Total fearlessness and being established in oneness with God and oneness in consciousness, all pervading consciousness, beyond all limitation of time, space and causation. Going beyond, breaking the bondage of all that is the ideal of sannyasin. So sannyasis looks upon the whole world as the divine manifested, and his responsibility, duty is, ideal is to serve everyone in this universe and lead a life as guided by God for his own spiritual practice, going closer to God every day and serving the God that is manifested as different forms of human beings and life in front of them. Swami Ranganathanadaji used to say, your spirituality should be mature when, by closing your eyes, you can find peace in your heart and meditate on the divine. And when you open your eyes, you find that divinity manifested and give them your love and loving service. When you can do both, then your spirituality is matured. Only remaining in meditation and prayer without any concern for humanity is not the perfect ideal of sannyasa as taught by Swami Vivekananda. Thank you.